Hello and welcome to Kent Property News, where we bring you the latest insights and market movements from across Kent and the Southeast. I'm James Fox, and we'll start this session today by diving into the UK market, a month marked by stability in prices but a noticeable increase in supply of properties. We explore how this is playing out nationally and then zone into what's happening here in Kent. Across the UK, the current market is well balanced. Prices are holding steady, but there's rising stock levels coming onto the market, and this is tipping it towards a buyer's market. According to the Halifax House Price Index for the month of May, average house prices in the UK are currently standing at £296,000. However, the average asking price for properties listed on Rightmove currently stand at £379,000. There's a massive difference between these two prices, and what we can see is that sellers are quite optimistic in terms of what the values of their properties are, but buyers aren't exactly rushing in and buying these properties. If we stay on the supply side for this year, the amount of listings that have been listed on Rightmove currently stands at 779,000. This is a cumulative amount of listings, so this is a total amount of listings that have been listed for this year. And what that means, or what that shows, is that there's an increase of over 15% over the 9-year average of listings. So there's a massive increase of supply currently on the market. What about mortgages? Well, there's some positive news there too. Both 2 and 5-year base rates, or rates, have eased towards the 4% mark. This follows the Bank of England's second base rate cut for the year, which now sits at 4.25%. This does help affordability a little, but it's clear that buyers are still not rushing back into the market. If we zone into Kent and the Southeast, how does it impact us here? Well, the average house price in Kent currently stands at £427,000. Is far higher than the average across the nation. Terrace houses are averaging 370,000, semi-detaches 444,000, and detached homes 647,000. There is a total of 25,000 properties currently for sale in Kent, and nearly 2/3 of those properties are houses. It shows that the supply of houses is really high in Kent. But that's not an issue, because if you look at the properties that are on the market versus those that show sold subject to contract, 60% of that stock shows subject to contract, which means that still there's quite a high demand for houses in Kent. However, the news is not so rosy for flats. Out of the total number of flats, the availability rate is 64%, and what that means is out of the total listings that have been on market, only 1/3 of those are showing sold subject to contract. If we then analyse this a little bit further, only 1 in 2 properties in Kent actually completes a sale. And buyer inquiries, as per the RICS website, are 33% down. Fall through rates are extremely high in Kent as well, and this sits highest in the whole of UK as an average, and that's sitting at 26.5%. I call agents on a daily basis and I kind of ask them what's happening in the market, and the majority of them are saying that there's an oversupply of properties with slower sales, homes are overpriced, and there's a lack of strong interest in properties. However, they do say if properties are refurbished and are presented and marketed at the right price, then these properties are continuing to sell. So, what does this mean for my strategy going forward for this year? Well, we are still looking for homes that we can buy, refurbish, and flip, or find sellers that are struggling to sell where we can go refurbish their house and put it back on the market. Additionally, for long-term wealth creation, we are looking to buy mixed-use properties and blocks of flats. The reason for this is that there's lower stamp duty rates payable as well as higher yields. If you're a landlord looking to exit, or if you have a tricky property that you're struggling to sell, I'd love to have a chat with you. We always are open to new opportunities. And so if you'd like to connect with me, my contact details will be at the bottom of this recording. Thank you.